we're unwrapping right here the next little project that we got going on, because we've had a lot of people ask about it, a lot of requests. And it's like, didn't really want to get into it at first, but it's like, no, I think we can do this. Let's unwrap this and see what it is. Stock block 5.3 Gen 4 blocks. So what we're going to be doing here is we're big sleeve, 1/2 inch head stud, main stud, and dry deck upgrade. So we're going to actually be building these and then keeping them in stock. These are for stock. So we're going to put these things together. Let me show you how we go all about this. Hey everybody, we got a brand new deal here going on with our stock block 5.3 big sleeve engines. Now, let me show you what the common deal is, and which has been working and has been fine, is we would machine up. This is a big 125 bore sleeve, step sleeve. You machine it out, you put sleeves in, bada bing, bada boom, you got a 125 bore. But I've been looking at this thing and it's like, God dang, look at that. Some of these things, they get so thin, they're so thin right here, they're just like, there's nothing there. And I'm thinking, well, if it's so thin right there, where is it so thin everywhere else? That maybe what is going on is that this sleeve is being forced down by the cylinder head. That's what keeps the sleeve in, what keeps the gasket and the O-ring, or I'm sorry, the gasket and the hoop in it, all right? So it's getting forced down like this. Well, if it's getting forced down this, and this is supporting all the sleeve weight right here, along with some press here, but that don't freaking matter, is that I wonder if there's a better way to get more support up here for the sleeve, so the sleeve can't just push through this whole area. And we want to dry deck this whole thing. So we have a whole method where we have been machining in little pucks, just exactly like these, where we will machine the block, make the plugs, plug this in, and it fills in the whole deck. Or some people weld this all up. But here's the deal. I wanted to do something different. And this is good. And we've already done it. We've done a couple of blocks like this, and I think that it's been okay, and it probably is okay, but how can we do it better? That's what I always want to search for. So how can we do this better? Let me show you how we're going to do this better. And this will show you exactly what's going on. Now, when you actually cut this whole deck surface out, what you end up seeing right here is that, this paper thin, look at that. This paper thin material, especially in between the bores, and look how thin that is right here. That's what's supporting your sleeve from like underneath. That's what's like underneath the ground that you can't see, or in the ocean that you can't see. It's like, oh, what's going on down there? Oh, I don't know. Let's just keep swimming up here. That's what's going on. There's only that. because the sleeve is not being held by anything. So what we're gonna be doing here, I'll show you the CAD on a plate here in just 1 second over in Brock's office, is we've machined this out, gonna put a billet 1-inch thick plate in it. Then we will machine this little trough all the way around here, and I will come in here and I will weld this all up so there's nothing going on there after it's all clamped down. So we'll actually clamp it down with the sleeves in it. Got to think how I want to do it. We might do it, I think we'll do it with this, I think we're going to put it all together, clamp it down, put the sleeves in it, and then probably the last thing I'll do is come in and weld this, and then we will, I got to think which process we're going to do. But we have a whole billet plate. So this way, this billet plate is supported right by the head studs and these sleeves, what's left of the cylinder block. The sleeves will go through that 1-inch torque or 1-inch plate and then be fully supported, 1-inch plate, very, very strong, much stronger than what it was. 1/2-inch head stud conversion, and we have a longer stud and machined farther down into the block to get more thread contact, more into the block. Let's look at the CAD on this thing. Notice how much thread goes into the block. And this is farther down in the block because this will just be sandwiching together everything in that whole plate section. And here's the plate that Brock is doing. That'll be billet 6061 aluminum plate that's in there, and then I'll weld all the way around it to seal that all up 100%. So this will be 100% dry deck. You can, if you wanted to, you could add some holes and make it wet decked if you want. We're not gonna do a wet deck version of it. You can add your own, you can put a gasket on there, add your own freaking holes if you want to. If you want a wet deck, if you want a blowhead gasket, potentially, and spew water all over the ground, more power to you. But otherwise, we'd like to do them dry decked, where we take a water port from the back of the block underneath where the cord plug would normally be and run that up to the cylinder head with a -12 or -10 fitting, and then that flows very well. Deal Brothers have been proving that out, that actually cools better than the factory cooling on the factory gasket and factory cooling system. This is who we did the dry deck for on this video right up here. You see that dry deck video? And
we should talk about that real quick. So
is it good or bad?
It is amazing. We had hundreds of people commenting and getting a hold of us, asking us like how it was going to work, and they told us it wasn't going to work. You know, all the internet people said, "No way, you can't drag that. You can't drive that on the street. You can't. It's not going to work." Well, I hate to be the bearer of bad news for those guys, because not only did it work, but it cools better now than it did before. And the other thing that's crazy, and I was going to come talk to you about this, cylinder to cylinder balance for temperature is almost dead on now. The back cylinders are not hot no more.
Oh yeah.
So we didn't do the reverse. We left it in normal.
Yeah.
So the water comes into the block, comes out of the back of the block into the back of the head. So now it's cooling the rear of the head first, and then working its way forward.
Yeah.
Therefore, the unbalance of the temperature that LSs typically get is no longer.
Yeah.
So it is really like the plugs come out now. I don't have to add any fuel to the rear. They're more balanced.
Yeah.
So it kicked butt there. What, 170 to 190 at the highest the whole time.
Seemed like 190
with the hood on.
You know, yeah. Oh, well, yeah, with hood on.
With hood on. There's no air getting in there because there's nowhere for the air to escape.
Yeah.
So it is where we love it.
So the next thing that Brock's gonna do before we build the plate and put the plate in and then put the sleeves in is there's no sense having this all here. So he's gonna cut a little trough and knock out all this material, because you can see there's a little solid spot right down there. But all this just does nothing, and it would just probably screw up the sleeve install. I mean, that's just useless. But to be clear, every stock block that is sleeved is like this. They're made, and a 5.3 for sure. Some of the other bigger bore blocks might be a little bit different, but probably not. So I think this is going to be a really good dry deck, super solid deck, bolted through, bolted, pressed down, sleeves in. I think this is going to be very, very good. Alrighty, so Brock has this all cut out now, and we have the billet deck. And I'm gonna call these blocks billet deck big bores, because here is our 6061 billet deck plate that This is machined in there perfect. There. That we put in there. Now, couple things. Notice the trough. So I'm going to weld all the way around this. And this will, after we're going to bolt it down. So it'll be bolted down, torqued in. Then I'll come in and I'll weld this all up. All right. Now, notice then the step sleeve goes in. Notice the texture difference here. This is cast, it's crap. This is billet, it's beautiful and much stronger. So now, where does most all of your compression and cylinder pressure really have maximum amount of cylinder pressure? About the inch and a half. It depletes and goes, as piston's going down and faster it goes down, the faster it dissipates. But your highest amount of cylinder pressure is usually in that 1 inch. What is 1 inch? Solid billet. What used to be there, come down here and look at this one. What used to be there, pretty much nothing. Even if we fill these in, it gets a little bit better, but it's still pretty much hollow all the way through there. We've been proving that just by how thin everything is right there. So astronomically stronger, really excited about this as far as not nearly as good as the SML as far as holding head gaskets, but I think this is going to be fantastic. This is a 1 inch thick billet deck in the block. Sleeves machined all the way down through it with a step in it in the billet block now instead of on top of the very thin cast, which can have a tendency to still move. Weld it in, and then we're going to be machining in and putting in these stainless steel sleeves that will go in and seal up the head bolt, because the head bolt is would still be exposed to water right through here. So we're going to come right in here, and when everything's welded together, machined in together, we'll machine in and put a sleeve in there. Now keep in mind too, threaded holes, almost 3 inches all the way down. So getting maximum head clamping force, really squares up the block, really makes this so much better. I've seen some people that had like this weird little bridge trying to hold this all together. Well, guess what? That's solid. And then it'll be all all put together. The bolts are holding that all together, so everything is through this whole billet plate. So we're gonna take this over. I'm gonna start welding this. I'll probably weld this up in the morning, machine this, get the sleeves in it, and I'm pretty excited about this because I really think this is, I've never been much of one for this whole sleeve block deal, but I understand why you guys got to do it, and sometimes the classes. This is a 5.3. It will look like a 5.3 block from the outside, but this is a billet deck big bore. Very cool. All right, so we got everything all machined in here. I mean, it is tight clearance. Got that all in there. Just put in our bolts to tighten this down. Short one bolt, that's all right. I'll just come back to this in a second. So we're going to start the welding process on this. And I'll be welding around here, come up and take the bolts out and just weld a little section that I can't get to. But everything should be really good right through there, because this whole cylinder head, everything is, it's going to be sealed up here, water-wise and strength-wise, boxing this all in even more. And then the cylinder head then is boxing it all together by clamping all the way through this billet deck surface. Super cool. That's a fair bit of welding going on right there. But I feel pretty good about that side. I think my bolt holes might add a little material right there and right there. But other than that, looks pretty good. All right, you can see on this side, I started out with a little cleaner material and had my welder setting a little bit better. So it's actually much nicer weld on this side that I'm pretty happy with. So what happens here, especially on that other side, and even right here on this side, is it's actually pulling some of the dirt out of the casting over the edge. So it actually pulls it right over the edge. So I can go over here. You can see I just welded this, and currently this is all actually concave. So I'm still gonna go over this to fill the bridge as I go through here. So I'll fill these little spots and then come over and basically do over the whole thing, adding just a little bit of material, because this is just slightly below grade here. And that's because I got into this deep bead, really get good penetration on everything. But here, I just cleaned it up better before I got after it, and made for lot nicer welds. Upcoming videos, you're gonna find this really interesting. This job right here is really kind of cool. Big block 440 Chrysler, $435 rebuild. Complete rebuild, $435. You gotta come back and see what that thing's all about. Another one. Next, check this out. Finally, what's that say right there? What the heck is that? A Pontiac? What in the heck? We just got this running, got to put the valve cover breathers on it. Torque Storm supercharged Pontiac, looking for making 1,500 horsepower. That's what we're looking for. Blow through carbureted, real world Pontiac, all aluminum. Then we also have this one coming up on video, Magnuson supercharged big block Chevrolet. This was really cool. Just giving out some more quotes on these because it's a pretty neat deal. New school Magnuson supercharger, lower profile than even a 671 with carburetors on it. EFI, all the bells and whistles. Big power, really runs well. Smoil update. Let's check our glass out. We are at 4 weeks now. I would say that still has I'm gonna call it the permafilm, because that is definitely still on there. Look at that. I wonder if that will put a nice coating on your engine parts while it sets. Or has methanol in it, or water in it. But you gotta check this thing out too. Last thing I'll show you. All right, now the Smoil oil is gonna be available coming up soon. Hopefully second weekish or so of September, and we're gonna be going down the Driven and showing you a bunch of stuff and sending out the special first batches to other engine builders and other special people, maybe even Lake Speed, the oil geek. Really? Wow, that'd be cool. But anyways, let's go back to more machine work. Now, we are doing custom machine work and custom repair work within reason. Come back and see this one, because this was a 481 X block sent to us from a customer in Australia, because you can't find anybody to work on anything. I will fix stuff. So we're fixing the mains, welding up main saddle, lifter bushings, black dowel pins, rollarized, and then built in our rollarized thrust. We put this entire rollarized thrust in this block. It's a little dirty right there. Video coming up on this entire machine work side of things, and you'll be able to see this on the website too. So anyways, let's get back to welding this thing up. So I've welded all the way in, all the spots. I'm just gonna go over it with just a little bit of fill to make sure that I don't have any low spots here. But all things said and done, I think the welding's gotten better right there. That's good. What do you think, Nate?
I think it looks good.
Ooh, it's good by Nate. How about that? Let's fill up. I'll just go over these areas and fill in some of these low spots. But I know I got really good penetration all the way through here, filled my groove, and now I'm just gonna go back through and just kind of dust everything up here. Not shabby bad if I say so myself. That's a lot of welding. Solid. Billet. Big bore. Dry deck. Half-inch head studs. It's pretty good. All right, let's get this thing cooled down. Get it over there and get Brock to put the sleeves in this thing. I'll show you how that's going in, how the steps are there, everything's in. Mill this thing flat. Probably actually mill this thing flat and then put the sleeves in, because I like to have like 2/1000 of protrusion on the sleeve. So that means the sleeve sticks up above the deck surface about 2/1000. It's hard to do because you really got to have all your crap together in order to make that happen. Half the time, maybe 3/4 of the time, we got our crap together.
3/4 of the time, you got it all the time.
3/4 of the time, we're 100% on it. All right.
I wish you all the best I can, and I stop myself for a while. I'm saying things I don't believe. The panic's rising up in there. Why won't you tell me something new? Don't you think one or three for the best? If I pack my stuff, I'll leave sooner than this. Don't you think one or three for the best? If I pack my stuff, I'll leave sooner than this.
Alrighty, so you just saw this thing. It's all machined up here, ready to have sleeves installed. We will come back in here and just need to remake our holes round again, because I was welded by here. And check out what I want you to see. Just look at this. Look at that color match. Do you see weld in there? Fudge, no, you don't see any weld in there. You see any weld right there? Fudge, no, you don't see any weld. I'm getting better at this welding thing. I cannot weld tubing or anything thin to save my butt, but man, I can pour the power to something and let her eat. All right, so I'm really happy with the way this all turned out. I mean, it is fantastic. It looks great. Billet deck. That is 1 inch thick billet deck. Put these sleeves in here. The thing is going to be fantastic. So right over here, you can see the other blocks we got in process. So we're doing these blocks for sale, for in process. So we're going to have them available. This one has not been done at all yet. These were the first version where we were thinking we were going to, you know, fill these panels in, and then I see, look, this is crap. This is no good support. Anybody that does this and has just put sleeves in these things on there, you saw how thin the material it actually is sitting on. I mean, it is just nothing. Even if you fill in all the deck surface, it's just nothing that's there. So anyways, so we're doing that. You'll be able to see the final finished block probably tomorrow on the website. You can go to the website, see the link right here. That's just a placeholder, but we should have everything up on there tomorrow of the finalized finished block with the sleeves in it, the receiver grooves in it. Then we are also going to put for wet or dry blocks. Now, this is definitely going to be a dry deck, billet deck, dry deck. If you want, you can either add your own holes to make it a wet deck. We can add holes to make it a wet deck, if such a thing is what you want. Or we are going to be putting in, we will have bungs that I'm going to machine and weld into the outside of the block right here for transferring water from the cylinder head, because water goes up through the cylinder head. It's now dry deck, and if your heads are dry deck, you will have no head gasket. At least if it does blow, or you have head gasket leakage, it's not going to spew water out of it. And you need to go from the cylinder head to the block to the cylinder head. So water into the cylinder head, up through this passage. Water comes in this passage to the cylinder head, flows through the cylinder head, and then would come from the outside port right here on the cylinder head, whoop, right to a fitting that we're going to put here. And that's going to be part of the dry deck, billet deck, dry deck passage. 4125 bore, I think this thing is going to be really good. So anyways, like, subscribe. Make sure if you like this kind of content, share it and say, hey, I just seen the best LS stock block big sleeve conversion ever in my life. You need to go check this out. Send it all over the place. I appreciate every one of you guys. Remember, like, subscribe, hit the like button. Leave a comment if you got questions or comments. Feel free to leave it. Have a great day.